Okay, Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. I'm in the city center of Lviv. Just here to pick up some chocolates and candies and stuff for the wife. You know, there's like a lot of interesting shops, you know. So I'm in the Renox Square. I think you've seen, I've made a lot of videos of Renox, but maybe we'll go do some of the side streets or something. So, what to talk about? Yeah, Kharkiv. Kind of reminds me of the Tet Offensive. They keep telling us everything is fine and, you know, Russia's disintegrating, and then, oh, there they are, just like 1968 in Vietnam. The war will be over by Christmas, the Viet Cong is almost gone, and then boom, out of nowhere, it was hell, you know. I mean, I wasn't even alive then, but I read a lot about the Vietnam War, you know, and about McNamara and Westmoreland and all of this. This was a big part of, you know, reading when I was younger. So this was kind of like the Ukrainian Tet Offensive, and it caught everyone off guard, you know. And I think, like I said, I'm all for like a ceasefire as long as there's a Western backing. You know, you can go through some more of these scenic routes. We need to get Western, you know, so we got a situation like South Korea and not South Vietnam. The U.S. left South Vietnam, you know, eventually, and it left it undefended and it collapsed. Kind of like Afghanistan, you know, when Biden pulled out of Afghanistan. And Ukraine and the European allies, they've got to come up with a plan that there would be Western troops, you know, get some agreement where the Western troops would guarantee the security and we would get the bases. You know, we would get unfortunately a wall with the eastern part of Ukraine that's no more, you know, or under occupation, however you want to say it or look at it. You know, so this is like a recruitment office, you know, looks like the Azov's, but you got wheat. So yeah, it's a tough situation. You know, my brother-in-law, right? He was an Advika 3 months. And, you know, that was supposed to be it. Then he was good, get to retire. Now he's being recalled to go fight in Kharkiv, you know, and he had just went to France for training. So, you know, hopefully he'll be a little bit better prepared. But, you know, military warfare, it's all about your supply chain, your equipment, how well equipped you are, how well rested you are, your tactics, support. So, I mean, you can have this best training in the world, but if you don't have ammunition, you're pretty much screwed. You know, went through some tunnel there. Yeah, there's all kind of restaurants I can show. Yeah, so you have some pizza place. You know, you have an adult shop here. You know, and you have a Brazilian restaurant here, Churrasco. Yeah, that's a nice place. And I'm trying to find this Carmel restaurant. You know, that's always interesting. But yeah, hang on, let me just check. Yeah, I have enough microphone. So it's I don't know, the big problem here is uncertainty, right? We don't have a predictable future. And you know what worries me the most is we end up like Georgia, right? They have big protests going on, and they're huge. I mean, relative to their population, but I don't know if it'll change anything. You know, if they're not backed by the West, you know, they overthrow the government. You know, the Russians will start another invasion. You know, it's just so they have to put up with this Russian rug government. They can show some protests or whatever, but. You know, this is what happens if you don't have a security agreement. You know, I mean, things in Georgia are actually, you know, before these protests were actually, you know, you could go there and visit. They're relatively stable, you know, and what have you. They hit an equilibrium, but it's hard for them to get investment because no one knows what's going to happen next. You know, if the Russians are going to come and take it all, or if this new Russian government will just put in some crazy laws and tax all the foreigners, or seize their businesses, let them build it up and seize it. You know, and this is like what people worry about here. You know, is if we don't have a security agreement and a Western guarantee, then it's going to be very hard to get investment. Nobody's going to put money in a country where you can lose it all. You know, I used to work in a Finnish investment bank, and they actually invested into rehabbing farmland in eastern Ukraine and Russia back in the late 2000s, around 2000, you know, like this. It was called Trigon Agri. They were big in Kharkiv. And then the Russians came and took it all. You know, they lost $50 million. You know, it's just the way it is. You build new grain elevators, you put down some John Deere tractors and all of this, and then yeah, this is why a Western security agreement is pretty much everything. And you know, situation in the U.S., Ukraine has to think about making some compromises, you know, for long-term good. You know, and granted, yes, there's this argument that, yeah, you've appeased the Russians and they'll have time to build up and they'll take more. But if there's a Western security agreement, like what the Koreans got, there'll definitely be a line, just like what we had in East and West Berlin. There was definitely a line that they couldn't go beyond. So if we have the NATO agreement and get the NATO bases, it stops, you know. But if they get left like South Vietnam, if it gets left like South Vietnam or Afghanistan early in Biden's term, then it's it'll be like Georgia, just a limbo. It'll be in a limbo waiting for the other shoe to drop. You know, that's and then it'd be very hard for investment money to come in. You know, meaningful investment money. I mean, there's people building condo projects in Batumi, but this is like this is nothing. This is just small potatoes. Let's see, I have to go up by the Atlas. I'll go back and around here to show you some buildings. So yeah, it's like the Tet Offensive. You know, I mean, the Ukrainian media itself is kind of like a bit of it's a kind of another kind of propaganda, like a toxic positivity propaganda. You know, keep telling us things are better than they really are. That doesn't help. You know, and I mean, it doesn't help. They have to, you know, I mean, the Trump thing is going to change the whole tone. And he's up in 5 out of 6 swing states in the last poll. And I think Taylor Swift can only give Biden a 5% bump overall. She can maybe get some turnout among the Democrats. But if Trump pulls away by more than 5%, I don't think even Taylor Swift can help Joe Biden. You know, and this court cases against Trump, it just seems like it's making him more popular with his base, and even getting, he's even probably winning people over, people who've been in trouble with the law or had their own troubles, can find that relatable, you know, that, so I think that was a bad move to prosecute him. It's giving him a lot of free airtime on TV. He doesn't have to pay for that time, you know, it's all for free. You know, I mean, even the mug shot, he got that for free, and that helped him raise $7 million. So, I mean, I don't know. It's backfiring, just like the Monica Lewinsky backfired, you know, with Bill Clinton. You know, backfired against the Republicans and made Bill Clinton even more popular. So, I don't know. It's not looking good, you know, and they have to start thinking what's most important. Most important thing is that Ukraine can also rebuild. They keep saying, okay, if they do a ceasefire, Russia will rebuild. Ukraine can also rebuild. Ukraine can also develop technology, and Ukraine will have the Western technology. You know, the drones, you know, and you know, these humanoid robots, you know, and these dog robots. I saw one that they have a flamethrower on it. Another one they mounted. The Marines are testing one with a machine gun, so that could go and do the very dangerous work of like storming trenches. You know, you get like 10 of those running in a line, you know, just, you know, flamethrower and 6 machine gunners, you know, there won't be anything left in those trenches, you know, just to be like a Russian barbecue, you know, that's about it. So they also get time to develop, but once we get a security agreement and hold that line, then they can build this economy. It can be like South Korea. Ukraine can become a country of immigrants. They can start boosting up the population. You know, they can, they can take people from all over and get them working in technology and, you know, construction and what have you. You know, it's immigration is actually a good thing if it's managed right. You know, yeah, they need to think different here. That's for sure. Because, you know, if you keep doing what you're doing, insanity. Yeah, that's you know, insanity is what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result every time. Yeah, that's insanity. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I mean, it's just a crazy situation. You know, that they're with the soldiers, they don't get rotations, and they basically are. The army is like a one-way ticket. Like my brother-in-law, he was supposed to get out on a few occasions, and they just keep pulling him back in. You know, so that's what's happening on the ground here. You know, and they have to have some sense of urgency with the U.S. election coming up. There just has to be some urgency here to secure something that can be rebuilt and can. And I've been saying in all my videos, they can shift the war to. I mean, Russia's not a monolith. Russia's 19 different ethnicities and like small nations, and start fracturing that. You know, so that they don't get a chance to rebuild. You know, give them some internal problems to deal with. You know, that would be what to do. Where this caramel shop is, this is the pharmacy. So there's a shop that sells. You know, my wife wanted some caramel and everything. So yeah, it's here somewhere. Yeah, it's a lot of nice scenic buildings. I mean, I wish I knew more about them. I don't. I just know a lot of them need rehab. You know, yeah, I think this is it. I think this is where you buy the, yeah, it's, see a lot of nice art here. There's a lot of graffiti, but there's a lot of art too. You get a lot of nice pictures and everything. Yeah. Somewhere here is a shop I'm looking for. I probably have to turn off the camera and go look for things, you know. Yeah. It's nice to come out in the morning before the crowds come. You know, then people aren't jumping into your picture and screaming and everything. But yes, supposedly here, I guess maybe I have to wait till things open up. Yeah, I just have to hang out here till the shop's open. Maybe I'll go over to Lviv chocolate. You know, they always have some reliable sweet stuff over there. You know. Yeah, if they could get a plan for Ukraine, get an agreement and start things here and boost the population through immigration and pay people to have kids like they're doing in Korea. In 10 years, this would be unstoppable, and Russia will be falling under its own weight like it did in the USSR. I mean, U.S. can make some advancements in nuclear energy. You know, if we start building nuclear power plants and get off of the fossil fuel, you know, and that way there will be no demand, you know, to crash the oil prices. Could crash the Russian economy, you know, attack their economy, you know, create some internal tensions. You know, it could, they could get it all back, even Belgorod. That used to be part of Ukraine too. They could get it all. Finland could get Karelia back. You know, yeah, that's another example. Finland and Karelia. Finland lost part of its territory, but it stopped. You know, after World War II, it stopped. And now they're in NATO, so it's definitely not gonna, Russians will definitely not advance on Finland. Finland's got the air power, they got the F-18s, they got all kinds of weapons and stuff, and they know how to fight good and well trained, good supply. I mean, the Russians can't touch it. And that's what we got to do. We got to make Ukraine like Finland or South Korea. You know, the Finnish economy is one of the best in Europe. So they have to be a plan. It has to be a plan, because if Trump comes here and Ukraine ends up like Georgia, everyone's going to try to leave who can. No one will come in. There'll be no investment. And you know, it'll be like, essentially there'll be a Russian rug government, and it'll just be corruption and BS all the time and sideways living. You know, here's some nice buildings. Yeah, that's some more of the Renock. They have this Mason restaurant. You know, it's fun. You knock on the door and you go into an old Soviet apartment, and then you go out the other door and you're in this really nice restaurant. You know, it's interesting. Yeah, so see what the dollar's been gaining strength. Yeah, the dollar's up. I don't have the. Yeah, it looks like it's 40 to $1. Yeah, that's that can kind of give you an indication. That's like a leading indicator of where things are going. When the dollar was back at 35, it was it was a different story. It was a lot more optimistic here. So here I am. I'm at the Lviv chocolate. I better get some candy and everything, and enjoy the summer. So yeah, you all take care, and we'll see you later. Okay, bye.